We'll do it live. We'll do it live. It's Bill O'Reilly. Okay, so the topic of today's video is holy war, holy war, holy war, holy war against the MAGAT influencers who are paid by the Epstein Group to basically obfuscate, lie, and subvert America. Now, the thing you have to understand about the US government at this current time is that it's run by private groups. It's actually not a government at all. It's layers of security that exist to serve a private for-profit organization called the Epstein Group. The Epstein Group hasn't been dismantled. The Epstein Group hasn't been affected. The Epstein Group has total and complete power over the White House and the Congress. For the most part, the Congress a little bit less because they were able to pass that bill, but the Epstein Group is the group that's sponsoring the MAGAT influencers, and the T in MAGAT stands for TARD. So I call them the MAGAT influencers, and they're sponsored by the Epstein Group. That's who's funding them. And so I'm on Rumble. I like Rumble because they let me broadcast. I like YouTube because they let me broadcast. But Rumble in particular has a lot of these types, and I'm not saying Rumble should stop letting them on or stop taking their money, because they're letting me broadcast, and I could take down the entire Epstein mafia with the truth. And Rumble or YouTube or anybody, you can keep taking their money, but if you let me on, I will single-handedly take down their entire network, and they will be destroyed, and you will be free. You'll be free. Even you folks who are taking money from them to broadcast their propaganda on Rumble or anywhere else on the internet, you'll still be free as long as you allow me to communicate. And so the first thing I would say is, you never want to have time for lies. You don't want to have time for lies. You don't have time for liars. You don't have time for subversives. And basically what Donald Trump is offering America is a gigantic pile of trash, like a gigantic pile of excrement. And he's just wasting everybody's time. But what he's doing benefits the Epstein Group. And what Congress does benefits the Epstein Group. And what all these influencers, these MAGAT influencers on Rumble or anywhere else, they benefit the Epstein Group. And the people who are on my watch list of people who I suspect, who I like but suspect of being agents of this sinister group, is Tucker Carlson for sure. He's definitely serving them. Candace Owens, I hit her yesterday because she's going on about Freemasons and saying it's not Judaism, right? Sorry, I already covered that yesterday. The other person I would watch out for is Nick Fuentes. And I like Nick Fuentes. I said Nick Fuentes was the man of the year last year. But there's things that he does that are very suspicious. And one thing that he did recently was when he attacked Candace Owens, it was over the Charlie Kirk stuff, which I wasn't attacking her over. But he attacked her over the Charlie Kirk stuff. And he did it at the same time that Alex Jones and Barry Weiss and CBS were doing it. So that I found suspicious. But I'm not going to make this video about him in particular. It's really about when I go on Rumble and I see all these MAGA influencers, and they're all hirelings of the Epstein Group. They're all pushing the propaganda of the Epstein Group. And who is the Epstein Group? The Epstein Group is the Rothschild Group. If you listen to the testimony of Les Wexner, he said that he learned about Epstein through the Rothschilds. I wonder if I can find that easily on Facebook. Les Wexner. He did this interview, or not an interview, but he did like a deposition. Let's see if I can find it on. I mean, I doubt I can find it on Facebook. Oh, here he is. Let's see what he says. No, this is just the part where his attorney tells him to shut up. But that's not the important part. They cut out the important part.
Epstein and Donald Trump.
Oh, here we go. So here's
Yes.
shit, not that one. Here's Les Wexner talking about the Rothschilds.
Well, specifically, I talked to Ellie de Rothschild, and so I mentioned that earlier. So he represented their whole families. There have been a whole bunch of people. Most of them I never would have met, but I knew Ellie. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Personal work for the Rothschild family and doing personal work for the Rothschild family.
Okay, he's talking about Jeffrey Epstein. So Les Wexner is talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And he's saying that Jeffrey Epstein did personal work for the Rothschild family. And that's how he came to know him. So let's listen to that again.
In France.
Okay.
Doing personal work for the Rothschild family in France. Well, specifically, I talked to Ellie de Rothschild, and so I mentioned that earlier. So he represented their whole families. There have been a whole bunch of people. Most of them I never would have met, but I knew Ellie. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos.
Okay, so he's talking about Jeffrey Epstein there. So Jeffrey Epstein, he met Jeffrey Epstein through the Rothschilds, and Jeffrey Epstein said he's providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos and providing financial advice to the heads of Google. Okay, so there you go. Are all those people in prison now? No, they're running the White House. They're running the White House. So when I go on these different media platforms, you got to understand, this is who's running Donald Trump. This is who's running the White House. When that sweet lady, Caroline Leavitt, goes on, and she's cute, and she's blonde, and she's cute, and she's fun, and she goes on, and everything that's coming out of her mouth, that's just propaganda of the Epstein Group. Okay, that's where we're at in America. So that's where we're at. Now, let me get back on Facebook. Let me get back on Facebook here. So, okay, so here's the thing. Remember how I saw this thing Redacted this morning. I like Redacted. I like that show. But they were talking about this problem that we're going to have with the White House coming after people for cultural subversion. You hear about that on the Redacted show? YouTube. Okay, let's see what they have to say. God damn it. Fucking shit. God, this sucks. I hate this shit. Oh, yeah. So let's go to Redacted. Redacted. Iran strikes back. Oh, Patriot Act 2.0. Here we go. New cybersecurity
Well, the Trump
plan.
administration launched a cyber strategy recently because of the war with Iran. And what worries me, as usual, is that war is usually a Trojan horse for government power expansion. How can this further erode our civil rights? So let's take a look at the parts of this plan that gave me heartburn, and then we will decide collectively, are we overreacting or are we about to get censored on the internet? Here's the document published late last week. The White House says that this is to
President Trump cyber strategy for America. You think President Trump came up with this, or was it Peter Thiel? Peter Thiel, the degenerate, sodomite, drug addict weirdo, just weird on weird drugs, just weird behavior, sexual deviant. Peter Thiel. That's who J.D. Vance and Donald Trump worked for. Like they're coming up with cyber strategy for America. And what does it say?
Protect the U.S. from cyber crimes. Specifically, they're saying they will unveil and embarrass online espionage, destructive propaganda and influence operations, and cultural subversion.
Okay, well, that's me, isn't it? Because I am, my propaganda that I'm spreading is destructive to degenerates, destructive to the Epstein Group, destructive to the rabbinical order of Judaism under the Rothschilds. Like everything I say is designed to destroy that group of people. So it's a private group. It's a private group, which is using the United States government as a shell corporation and as a security operation to protect their little cult of what? Pedophiles, perverts, deviants, degenerates, drug addict, people who enslave and traffic children. That's who it is. Cultural subversion, you mean like your porno culture, like your Donald Trump, Donald Epstein porno culture run by rabbis? Yeah, I'm going to subvert that because that's fucking trash, bro. You're trash. Your culture is trash. Absolutely. Absolutely. Needs to be destroyed. That needs to be destroyed. Your sick, perverted, degenerate culture needs to be destroyed. 100%. So fuck you, Donald Trump. Of course, Donald Trump didn't write this. Donald Trump probably doesn't even, aside from signing his name, I don't know that Donald Trump can read or write.
And okay, in my view, the government is guilty of the worst propaganda around this war right now as we speak.
It's not even just the war. See, here's the thing. It's not even just them causing wars and killing millions of people all the time. It's the culture of this group that's taken over the United States government. They're total degenerates. They're complete perverts. They're complete criminals. Every single one of them is a criminal. Every single one of them is a criminal. And they've got nice people as their front people, like Caroline Levitt. She's a nice looking gal and she's fun and she's bubbly and she's cute. But she's the face of pure evil, of complete perversion. I mean, just look at Peter Thiel. Just look at Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a complete degenerate, and he's the one that wrote the cyber strategy. Let's look at it again. What does he say? What does it say in there? It says, our resolve is absolute. We will act swiftly, deliberately, and proactively to disable cyber threats to America. To America or to your satanic pervert cult, your satanic pervert ketamine cult. Here's the weird thing, okay? I think we all know that Elon Musk takes ketamine. He promotes ketamine. You know who else takes ketamine? Remember how that there was that demon that went to the Michelle Obama library to talk to the kids? That person takes ketamine. It's a ketamine cult. Did you know that? That whole drag queen thing it's a ketamine cult? Right. It's a ketamine cult. You know who else is into ketamine? Jeffrey Epstein was into ketamine. It's a ketamine cult because the ketamine acts as the reason why they use ketamine is because it creates what it does is it detaches the human soul from the body and makes the body into a complete zombie. It's a ketamine cult. It's a ketamine cult. These people are total, complete degenerate perverts that don't, frankly, and I'm not talking about Donald Trump alone. I'm talking about Peter Thiel. I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm talking about that whole network under the Rothschild network. They're complete criminals. They are complete criminals. They're complete criminals. And they're like, we will fight and curtail, we will fight the curtailment. What does it say here? We will outcompete adversaries who sell low-cost AI digital technologies that carry and embed censorship, surveillance, and ideological basis, except for anti-Semitism. See, let me explain something to you. Here, let me go. I'm gonna take you to my my Facebook page, and you'll see what's happening in Australia. You'll see what's happening in Australia. In Australia, you get put in prison if you just say the things I'm saying on right now, you go to prison in Australia. And the same people that control Australia control Donald Trump and control the European Union. That's why in the European Union, you go to jail for saying all the things that I say every day on the internet. They would go to prison because the same people that control. And here's the thing: we don't go to prison yet in America, but you have to understand is the same people that control Donald Trump are the same people putting people in prison in Australia and in Germany and in the UK and going to people's homes in the UK and throwing them in jail for word crimes. It's the same group. It's the Rothschilds. That's who's doing it. And that's who runs Donald Trump. And that's who runs the Epstein Group. And none of them are in prison, are they? Let me find this little video clip of Australia, what's happening in Australia. That's the thing people don't understand. Like you got these MAGAT influencers, right? And they're all raw, USA. And so, and you're like, but what about in UK? They're going to the police show up at your house and they arrest you for stuff you post on Facebook, and then they throw you in prison. They're like, well, that's the UK, that's not us. Dummy. The same Rothschild mafia that's able to do that in UK is the same group that owns Donald Trump. You fucking idiot. How do you think this, like, they're so stupid, but they're paid by these people. So they're paid to be stupid. And they pick stupid people that will continue to repeat their stupid lines on the internet. I have to scroll way down here to find this thing, but it's important. You got to hear what's happening in Australia. Okay, so here's one of the clips.
Like I just had knitting yesterday, like knitting. I got to do knitting. I got to do 200 hours of knitting for like saying mean words on the internet.
They actually sentenced you to knit?
I got knitting. Yeah, I got community service, and then they.
You know what you should knit? Just as a.
A swastika? Nah, that would be illegal. Yeah. That would be illegal. It'd be illegal.
Hey, that's actually illegal?
You can't knit a swastika, no. Because it'd be public display.
If you drew a swastika, can you draw a swastika?
No, it's illegal.
As long as it's even in private?
If you did it in your own house and never showed anyone, it'd be fine. But if you did it in public, it'd be 12 months in jail, minimum.
Wow,
the minimum sentencing for public display of our religious symbol, because I think the swastika represents all white people. I think it's our eternal symbol. They've banned our.
A lot of people don't realize it's not like a hate symbol. Like it was propaganda to the whole entire world. I mean, it was used long before the Nazi regime.
Well, it's
good luck and multiple meanings.
There's swastikas drawn in caves that are like over 10,000 years old in France. I mean, they go back to Cro-Magnon, and ultimately, you just get like I just had knitting yesterday, like knitting.
Okay, so there you got that part. Here's another clip.
The system that we currently have is working by any means, and it needs a complete reform. And it's obviously here in America, people always think it's the left versus the right, and I just realized everyone's actually officially brain dead when they think it is the left versus the right, and there's not another group that's pulling the strings.
Yeah, I think that a nation is a biological being. A nation is like an extended family, and we have to be very careful who we let into our family. And I think that people that are radically different to us biologically, I think they should form their own family. They should be their own nation. And the relationship that we have with these other families at a national level, at an international level, that relationship should be dependent on how they treat us.
I don't think the system that.
Okay, so there's that. But you get the picture. You go to prison. You go to prison in Australia or you get community service for saying mean words, or they'll send the police to your house in the UK and arrest you for mean words on the internet. And you're like, yeah, but we're the Americans, dummy. The same people that do that in the UK control Donald Trump. That's the Epstein Group. You fucking moron. You're so stupid. You're such an idiot. You see, you're so stupid. That's why you're not making any progress, because you're dumb and you don't realize that the same people that can see. You know who imposes anti-Semitism laws in Australia? The group that runs Donald Trump. Ta-da! You know who arrests and puts 90-year-old ladies in prison in Germany for not believing in the Holocaust? The same people that run Donald Trump and the same people that run Alex Jones, actually, to be honest, because he never covered it on his show, did he? He wouldn't cover that on his show. It's the same. It's the same group. It's the exact same group. So let's see. Let me give you some examples. You go on Rumble, right? What's on there? Just go on and see, like, well, you can hear what they're talking about right now. Well, Kim Iverson, she's actually talking about exactly what I'm talking about. So she's not on the list. She's got a headline, The Rothschilds, Jeffrey Epstein, and the War with Iran. She's right about that. But I was on here earlier, and okay, like we've got, I don't know. Look at this idiot, the Timcast from a day ago. God, these people are so stupid, dude. See what they got.
Those all stand, right? Those are all legitimate. I'm just saying, from a military perspective, from an operational point of view.
Yeah, they got these
Get out
military
now,
guys on here.
and these are all true. What President Trump said. That's a massive victory. That is a massive, from a military strategic sort of perspective.
So anyway, here's the guy, right? He's on the Timcast. He's talking about him. He's talking about the military perspective and Trump's winning. Winning what for who, though? Winning what for who? Winning for the Epstein Group that goes around the world and throws British people and Australian people and Germans and Americans in prison for word crimes. That's who's winning. That's who's winning. That's who you're killing Iranians for. You're killing Iranians for the people that bombed Germany and bombed France and then imposed this satanic pedophile ring on the entire world. And then now they're going around the world arresting Americans and Canadians and Australians and British and throwing them in prison for word crimes. And they're the ones pushing all the trans stuff. See, this all the tranny stuff that all comes out of the Rothschild Epstein Group. This is their agenda. See, this is what I'm saying. Donald Trump is accomplishing nothing. Donald Trump is accomplishing absolutely nothing. Nothing. Except for them. He's accomplishing something for them, but not for anybody else. Let's find another one of these MAGAT idiots.
That is a massive victory. There's no denying that. But if it's true that he's thinking about taking over the Strait of Hormuz, this is going.
Okay, shut up, dude. Who cares?
She's literally just man after man. It's this really
Okay, it's dumb. Here's another one. The salty cracker guy. Can't stand these stupid commercials. Oh, there we go.
That's exactly what you have. It's fucking insane. This is the inside of that.
Expected to have their first.
Oh, the other thing they do is they push Islamic terror in America. Okay, dude, you're so fucking stupid, right? It's the Rothschilds that brought all the Islamic terrorists into America to kill you, you fucking idiot. And now you're going to start a war for them. It's not the Iranians doing this. Right. The Iranians aren't the ones that took over England and took over Germany and took over France and took over and started this thing called the European Union. And then they show up at your house and arrest you and throw you in prison. So that's not the Iranians doing that, you fucking moron. You fucking idiot. You're so stupid. It's not the Iranians. See, the Iranians didn't make laws in Australia that says if you criticize Jews, you go to prison. The Iranians didn't do that. They're doing that to the Australian people. The white Christian Australian people are being thrown in prison by their government, which answers to the Rothschilds, which is the Epstein Group, right? And all of the United States of America has been destroyed by the Epstein Group, which is a front for the Rothschild Group, and that's who Donald Trump works for. The whole thing was a big, gigantic fraud. The entire Donald Trump thing is a hoax.
first appearances in federal court today.
So anyway, having Islamic terrorism going on in America and having Islamic terrorism going on in America and Europe, that benefits the Rothschild group because it keeps you confused and fighting the Muslims. You see, and then someone who walks around and go, well, no, it's all this. The whole government answers to a Jewish mafia that rapes kids. It's a pedophile ring. They're like, bro, you just hate the Jews, man. It's these Muslims over here. Well, who brought them in, stupid? You're so fucking dumb. So anyway, I'm going to end off. Take care.